Today on Toy Habits, we are taking a look at the member of G.I. Joe who answered the call of Tommy Arashikage to back up and protect the clan against Kenta in the Snake Eyes Origins movie, Scarlett. And we're also revealing her custom file card. And before we get into the review, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and today we are taking a detailed look at the G.I. Joe classified series Scarlett from the Snake Eyes Origins movie, and we'll be doing some comparisons with the previous release of Scarlett. So with that, let's get right to it. And let's get down to business like we usually do and first look at the box. And Scarlett comes in the G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins window display box, where you can see the one accessory that she comes with, and she's set off by the beautiful Arashikage logo in the background. And zeroing in on the illustration on the front of the box, we can see Scarlett with her crossbow in hand, and I love the look on her face, and you can actually see that she's not really sure if she wants to take the shot or not. The crossbow is illustrated really nicely with a mix of grays and blacks. Her windswept hair looks really nice, and I love the way that this illustration just makes this look so lifelike. And if you zero in on the darker part below her crossbow, you can get a sense of her bodysuit that she has on here. And taking a look at the art on the side of the box, you can see a different illustration and different perspective of Scarlett here, and you can also get a better sense of the bodysuit that she is wearing as well. And it's textured very nicely, and it's a nice mix of grays and blacks and yellows and also maroons. And she does have her crossbow by her side, and you can also see some other art that they put on the side of this box that's also spilling over to the front of the box, as you can see here. And taking a look at the back of the box, you can see a beautiful illustration of Snake Eyes with some wonderful dragon art here, and it is the same exact illustration that you'll find on all of the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins movie G.I. Joe classified figure boxes. We have once again partnered with the talented Gerald of Digiphics to create Scarlett's custom movie file card, and you can see that the color palette of grays, blacks, and reds have been used for this file card to differentiate it from the regular G.I. Joe classified series cards, and the image of Samara Weaving has been used as she played Scarlett in the Snake Eyes Origins movie. You'll also notice that the abilities icons are in gray and white like the side of the G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes Origin movie boxes. You'll find Gerald's contact information for all of your digital design needs in the description below. He's truly amazing and one of the best digital artists I've worked with in the last 20 years. And taking a closer look at Scarlett's abilities, she is a level 4 intelligence, level 2 at arrow weapons, level 3 at martial arts, and her level 4 is classified. I know many of you have been asking, where can I access all of the file cards that you've produced? And I'm happy to announce that the file cards have a new home on our new Toy Habits website, which is still under construction. And while you wait for us to get our act together and finish other parts of the website, you can access the exclusive G.I. Joe Classified Series custom file card page that contains over 20 dossier cards from Cobra, G.I. Joe, the Dreadnoks, and the Snake Eyes Origins movie, and you can even learn more about us and even see what Larry looks like without a beard, which is worth the price of admission alone, which is free, and I know. Shocking, isn't it? The link to the site is in the description below, so please head over there after viewing this review. I know this is probably on everybody's mind, as this is the third iteration of Scarlett that we've seen in the line, so I'm here to answer the question, have they reused any parts from the version 1 or version 2 Scarletts that came in the G.I. Joe Classified series originally? And the answer is no. So now that that's out of the way, we will get into a small comparison at the end, but I just wanted to put everybody's minds at ease as we dive into the review. And now that Scarlett is out of the box, I wanted to start off by comparing the actress Samara Weaving's likeness to this head sculpt. And I've been poring over images from the Snake Eyes Origins movie, and I feel like her likeness is not quite there. Samara Weaving's face is not this angular in real life. I feel like they cut too far in the cheekbones where her jawline is to where her chin is. And that said, I do think that other parts of her face are accurately represented, like her nose, her eyes, and her head sculpt here. So let's take a closer look. Now, Scarlett does have very high cheekbones that you can see right here, and it kind of makes it look like she has shadows on her face because they are so high and well defined. She also has a really strong jawline, and her nose is angled up, as you can see from the side profile here. You can also get a great look at the head sculpt here and how the hair is layered and giving that textured effect. And you can also see it come together in the ponytail in the back, which creates a really cool effect. You can also see some of the black washing and the wrap that she has around her hair and more of her hair sculpt peeking out of that wrap at the bottom. I do like the fact that her hair is not one just solid piece, and it is just swept to the side in little chunks here and there, giving it a very layered and textured look. You can also see that Scarlett's lips are pursed, giving her a very nicely defined Cupid's bow, and I think they did an overall great job with the facial sculpt, although it doesn't look like Samara weaving that much. And taking a closer look at Scarlett's torso, this is the most detailed body armor that I've seen on a Scarlett G.I. Joe classified figure. And you can see that there is some gray washing here on the armor, which gives it a nice effect, which creates a lot of depth for this armor right off the bat when you take a look at it. It's also present here above her abdomen. And if you look at the figure and turn it around on the side, you can also see some of the texturing that they've given this armor here. And you can see the riveting detail that they've also put on the side. And if you move her hair, you can also see that they have some really cool paint app on the armor. It's yellow and it kind of blends in and matches the other parts of yellow on her figure. And you can get a closer look at the texturing and riveting that they have on the back. And something really cool that you can see once you turn her head to the side is these rivets here on the top that are in brown. You can also get a closer look at her collar detail, which is also textured, and they did a fantastic job just layering the armor over the clothing because you can see the continuity of the clothing peeking out of her armor there, which gives a really cool effect. And taking a look at Scarlett's arms, they are symmetrical from a sculpt perspective, but from a paint app perspective, they are asymmetrical. So let's take a closer look at the sculpting detail first. And you can see that Scarlett has brown gloves that bleed up to some really nice black and yellow forearm armor. You can also see some of the clothing detail here, which gives the appearance of folds, which make it look like actual clothing. And you can also see some of the yellow paint app on her shoulder armor here. And if we turn this figure around to take a look at the left arm, you can also see that they've added some red on the left side of her shoulder to differentiate both of her arms from each other. Next up, let's take a closer look at Scarlett's waist, and you can see that there is a movable holster that is not sculpted on to her, and I'm assuming that this is for a knife, although she does not come with a knife, so there's really nothing to put in there, but you can see the leather texturing detail and just how realistic this holster looks, and this belt. If you turn it all the way around, you can also see some of the silver detail that they've applied, as well as some more pouch detail and just extra sculpting to make this part look really unique. And taking a closer look at her waist piece, you can see the texturing that bleeds into her leg here. And I think they did a great job with this waist piece, just differentiating the various parts from each other. So for example, the front of the waist looks like leather, the sides of the waist looks like cloth, and the back of her waist piece also looks like pants and leather. So you can see the pocket detail that they have back here. And I think overall, this waist piece is really great, and it's very defined, and it's something that they should be doing in most of the G.I. Joe classified series figures, because I think it really sets off a lot of the parts from each other. And taking a closer look at Scarlett's thighs, you can also get that same effect where her clothing is under her armor. So they have some really nice, cool sculpted pieces of armor that look like they are strapped to the back of her legs here. And you can also see the pant detail where it folds, looking like real clothing. And I think they just did a fantastic job on the thigh sculpt here, just layering the armor and just making the figure look like it's wearing clothes with some layering to it. You can also see some of the riveting detail on the armor and some of the sculpting detail that they put on here just to make it look a little more interesting. And moving down to her knee armor, shin armor, and boots, you can see that they actually applied a lot of attention to detail here, and it looks like there are some straps that are holding on her knee armor here, and I don't think I've seen this in a G.I. Joe Classified series figure before, and if I missed it, I'm sorry, but typically the knee armor just looks like it's floating on there without any strap detail to hold it on. You can also see some of the texturing of the clothing that is feeding into her boots there. And speaking of her boots, she has some excellent shin armor that wraps around her entire leg. And you can see the sculpting detail and the riveting, and I think they just did a fantastic job with the gray washing that they put on this figure, very much like the gray washing that they have on her chest plate armor here. And if we take a closer look at the shoes, her shoes look really, really nice. They look like wedged platform shoes, and you can see the sculpting detail and also the tread detail. So great boot sculpt and knee armor and overall design from the knees down. Now, Scarlett only comes with one weapon, which is really strange for the G.I. Joe Classified series because they usually come packed with a lot more weapons and accessories than just one. So she does come with a recurve crossbow, which pays homage to her vintage figure weapon that came packed with her from 1982. And you can see that there is an arrow in the flight groove here, and it is pretty detailed, as well as the foregrip down below. You can see some of the grooves that they have down there, and you can even see the string that is feeding through the rear of the crossbow. Now, the limbs are a little less detailed than I would like, but all in all, it's a great crossbow sculpt. Now you might be wondering, what's the difference between this version of the crossbow and the crossbows that came with the versions of Scarlett before this figure? And really the main thing is that the crossbow on the right is the compound crossbow that the two versions of Scarlett have in the regular G.I. Joe Classified series line. And with this crossbow, it comes apart in pieces. So this particular crossbow is one single piece and it does not detach. And comparing the movie version of Scarlett to the G.I. Joe Classified series version 1 Scarlett, I put this one in here because just the colors are just so drastically different, so it just makes it easier to compare. You can see that there are no reused parts for this new Scarlett figure from the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins movie, and I really like that. You can see from the back here that the armor sculpts are very different, the hair sculpts are very different, the waist pieces are different, and also the arm sculpts are different as well. And moving down to the waist and leg pieces, you can also see that they did not reuse any part here, and they are different sculpts even down to the knee armor. And moving down to the boots and the shoes, you can also see that they did not reuse any of the shin armor that was on any previous Scarlett, and they gave her a new set of kicks. Now, what I was hoping to do was be able to swap heads with all of the versions of Scarlett, and to my disappointment, you can see that the ball joints for the heads are very different sizes for each other, so you can't really put the G.I. Joe movie Scarlett on the G.I. Joe Classified series original release Scarlett because she just doesn't fit, but I think you can just lay the G.I. Joe Classified series version 1 release on the movie version of Scarlett, and she looks pretty nice, but her head doesn't really stay on because the ball joint does not click in place. I think this is my favorite version of Scarlett for the G.I. Joe Classified series, and I was pleasantly surprised that this was a brand new sculpt. The attention to detail on this figure is one of the best in the line, and I hope that they'll be releasing more movie-inspired figures in the future. Let us know what you think of this figure in the comments below, and please remember to sub the channel, hit that like button, and subscribe because that tells YouTube that we're doing a good job and will show our videos to more people. So share the love, and thanks for tuning into Toy Habits.